If you cannot talk about money and talk about it intimately in a public way, or even between friends, it's going to be very hard, very difficult to attract money into your lives. So, with that, I'm going to share my family story, or a part of my family story, from beginning to where we're at right now and how we pursued wealth. Most of it unintentionally. So, a lot of happy accidents. So, I hope that by me sharing this, you can kind of see your family story or start your family story when it comes to pursuit of wealth. And it's not just wealth, as in money or stocks or assets or anything like that, but that's definitely a part of it. True wealth is health, right? I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. If you're already watching this, then you understand that. But sometimes we just need to hear a story to relate to or to be motivated by. So I hope this helps. So here we go. My story begins with my mom, and my mom's story begins with her mom. But in order to break that down, I'm just going to start with the United States. So, the United States is obviously a country where we have this huge divide of classes, right? There's the 1%, then there's the 1% inside the 1%, then there's the 99%. Hey, what's up? It's good to see you here. Drop a like, drop a comment if you in the 99%. But we're all striving to be better, and I do believe that in the USA, it is easier to do so. I've talked to other people from other countries, and they say, hey, building wealth in the USA, that's like playing capitalism in easy mode. It's a lot more realistic to do here. There's a lot more opportunities, but not everyone knows them. So my mom moved here in 1993. And I was born in 1993. I was just a wee lad. I was a wee lad. And my mom brought me over here because my dad is Jewish. So having a Jewish father in Ukraine, especially in the 90s, is kind of like, I don't know, the Rodney King riot type of atmosphere against Jewish people in Ukraine. Kind of like that's the closest I could get to. It's not a great example, but it's close enough. And so my mom came here expecting that her husband would follow, but instead, he kind of just signed the divorce papers, put her signature there, and that was it. No child support, nothing. But his in laws, my other grandparents, they stayed with us. And although they had a toxic relationship with my mom knew that they would help out with me from time to time and watch me and even take me to the park while she can figure out what her next steps are. So it was kind of like, it was kind of like, are they divorced or are they not divorced? She didn't know, but she knew one thing. She could no longer count on a partner or a man for help with income. So she started looking up, how the heck can I make income? And this is before the internet age. So what she did was found some newspapers, talked to some people at the park who were from the same kind of part of town as we were, like back in the Eastern Europe, like Ukraine, Belarus, all those types of countries. And she made a lot of friends there. And that friend circle were like, hey, programming, computer programming is where you build wealth, is where you could get a stable, strong income that should grow throughout time and beat inflation and all of that. So she's like, okay, great. But first, I have to learn English. So she started learning English during night school or like after, yeah, like evening school. She met more friends there. Again, I'm stressing the making friends part. That is the key to a happy, wealthy life. Some people say net worth is network or network is net worth. And although I don't believe in making friends just to like, how can I advance myself? Obviously, human relationships help one another get to a place that's greater than the sum of our parts. And that's exactly what started happening. She was able to drop me off at friend's house and continue doing more education, even more. She took programming classes. She met more people who spoke Russian, and that really opened up the gates for her. She got her first job, I think, late 90s, maybe earlier than that. I got to fact check with her. But moral of the story is she did learn English. She learned programming, which was very difficult for her. She didn't really understand, like, what the heck, how is a computer? Because we come from the Soviet Union, computers were rare back then, and especially in those parts of the world. After that, I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead to the early 2000s. So my grandparents from my mom's side already moved here, and they were very frugal people. They weren't frugal knowing they were frugal out of necessity, because living in the Soviet Union, you had to know how to conserve resources and make things last. So just imagine what they started doing with United States money. They did qualify for government programs, so they were getting paid by the government to kind of live a retired life here. They did contribute to the community. They babysat, like, all the neighbor kids. They would come over. My grandma would, feed them and all of that. It wasn't like a side hustle. She did it for free. Just, she was a community person. She loved helping others, and she loved kids a lot. My grandpa was kind of like that stubborn type of guy, like, where's my shows? But he would always be down for the cause. He tried to learn to drive, but we realized it was a little bit late for him. His vision was getting more poor, and learning the rules of the road was different over here compared to the Soviet Union, where it's like anything goes, especially back then. So with that, we had some more stability in our income, and my mom was able to start taking more risks. She kind of started looking into the world of investing because of women advocates for investing, like Susie Orman, one of the first 20th century, 21st century financial gurus. Actually, she says a lot of really helpful things. She got a lot of women into the space, into the world of investing. My mom actually never followed through with creating and putting money into index funds consistently. It is very scary, and it's especially scary for someone who comes from the Soviet Union, where the value of your money could, just like the Luna currency, right? One day it's here, the next day minus 90%. Just like that happened twice or three times during her lifetime and life in the USSR. So after that point, my mom started picking up better jobs and working at like companies like Price Grabbers, which is like pay per click and advertising and things like that. So she had a great time there. I finally finished high school in 2011, and this is kind of where that trouble started. I had to transition to college, and I got rejected from all the UCs. Now, my GPA was like 3.9 in high school, so it's fairly high. I had about 5 AP exams that I passed, but I did not make it into UCLA, UC San Diego, or UC Berkeley, which were my only three choices. And that was a blessing, because it forced me to go to community college. Knowing what I know now, I would not have even applied to the UCs and saved the application fees for something else. Maybe I would have tried harder on AP exams, knowing what I know now, and passed more of those to make my college journey shorter and cheaper. But community college probably saved me $30,000. Now, my grandparents saved up. They saved up hard. Again, frugality was part of their nature, which, I mean, by the time they got here, it was like part of their core to just save money and not waste it. My grandpa, he was bad frugal. He was cheap. He cheap in the sense where he would not tip and things like that. But they did not eat out at restaurants. That was like a luxury that we did like once a year, maybe. So I don't have these cravings of like fancy, right? I like things that last. And like seeing my grandma like hoard objects, right? She would have boxes or bottles of honey just in case times get tough. Like, she was always prepared. She was somewhat of a survivalist. Now, my grandpa, he could do anything with a gun. He could shoot, kill, whatever you wanted, whatever was on the move. But here he kind of gave all of that up just to watch me and protect me. So I'm very thankful for, I'm very connected to the past generations, especially my grandparents who did everything for me. And so, raw video, can't edit this, gotta keep going. And so, I'm very, very thankful. Okay, we're past that right now, but definitely I don't think that. Hold on, brain fart. Stay with me. Fast forward 10 seconds. Um, So my grandma saved up money with my grandpa for my college, and my mom, she didn't tell me. And I knew it was there, but she kind of like wanted to see what would happen with me. And so my grandma passed away in 2012. My grandpa lost a leg, so he was very dependent on my mom, and that's where my mom pivoted from computer programming into flipping items and kind of arbitrage, online retail arbitrage, where she would buy certain brands that she was very familiar with and items. So she's really great with like Versace and Chanel and all of that. And so she knew how to flip that. And she started doing that. And oh, lo and behold, it started catching up to her programming income, which was really, really cool. And now it's a little bit less. She kind of eased off the gas. She only does it to fulfill that high of chasing something that she loves, but also she pays for the mortgage with it. She pays for her groceries with it, and it's just something that she loves doing. Now she wishes she could take it to the next level, but she also just wants to kind of take it easy now. She lived a difficult life with definitely a lot of blessings, nothing she's remotely complaining about, but there was a lot of difficulty there that she didn't even realize was there at the time because, hey, yo, you got a baby, you got to survive, and you got to make sure your baby survives so one day you guys can thrive. And so with that, community college cost me maybe $3,000 in total for 2 years with books, possibly less. I did qualify for scholarships that I wrote for all the way back in middle school. Definitely, if you're watching this, if you're younger, or if you know someone in middle school, tell them to start. I wrote a 1 page or 2 page essay in seventh grade, and I got $2,000 for it. Like, imagine telling someone, hey, write a 30-minute paper or a paper that'll take you 30 minutes, and you will get $2,000. Me and my friend got it because no one else applied. So there's free money out there. There's things to take advantage of, and I hope that everyone here is doing. And it's never too late. If you're trying to go back into college, if you're a little bit older, you can totally do it, or a lot of bit older. You can qualify for a lot of scholarships, especially like think about riches being in the niches. So focus on like if you have a sibling on the spectrum, right? That is a special type of lifestyle that you're living that very few people can relate to, but some of them have money and they want to invest in you so you have a slightly easier life because at the end of the day we are one big human family, right? Human? I don't know about that. I almost glitched for a second. I can't let them know. Anyways, Illuminati confirmed. Moving on. After community college, I reapplied to UCLA, Berkeley, and UCSD, and I got into all of those schools. Very happy. Went to UCLA. I wanted to go to Berkeley to move away, but I'm so glad I went to UCLA. I saved costs. Again, not moving away from home probably saved me $20 to $40,000 because I didn't know much about money back then. I didn't know about being frugal besides it being in my blood. But I wasn't consciously frugal or anything like that. I just didn't spend money on things that didn't bring value into my life for more than 5 minutes. So I need to make sure that it really, really impacted my life. The most I would spend on would be Yu-Gi-Oh cards, where if I spend $300 on that, I would be playing with it for like a year, and I would make my money back through tournaments. So that was like my hobby, but it wasn't cheap because of the time that it took to invest into that game. So eventually I quit playing Yu-Gi-Oh when I graduated university around 2015. I went to nationals to compete. It was a lot of fun and I loved every minute of it. Every now and then I play once again, but older formats. And it's in 2015 where most of you know my story. I started sharing it on the internet under the tag financialism. And that's when I first started working 7 days a week. And I started investing in the stocks. When I got my first dollar, my mom actually said, "Hey, your grandparents actually saved a lot more. They saved $100,000 to cover almost any type of schooling experience you can have. But I'm going to take that money because I deserve it." And I said, "You know what? You totally do. So take it." And my mom said she will give me $10,000 of that. And so I had a shield, right? And there's no shame in that, right? Privilege is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be public about. It's something that people should know how you started so they don't make false comparisons. And a lot of people, they inherit a lot more money than $10,000 or they inherit a lot less and they do worse or better. It's all what you make of it. And of course, a little bit of luck, but it's a skill set to create lucky opportunities. So I created as many lucky opportunities for my life as possible. I started applying to every job that I could, and that's how I ended up with 3 jobs. I was a cashier at a restaurant. I was doing behavior therapy twice a week, kind of getting my toes into what would become one of my many careers and specialties that I'm in right now. I also started rapping. You guys could check out my raps on Spotify. It's a lot of fun. Lazy Boy, To the Moon. People like it, and that took a lot because I have no rhythm, no talent, and all of it is skill. So I'm very proud of my raps. You can see my microphone back there. There it is. She. Anyways, with that being said, I had learned a lot of different skill sets, and on the weekends I would do parties for kids, and this is where kind of my business savviness came in. Sometimes I would charge families $90 an hour, $100 an hour, and I would be there for 3 hours. Now that's the good side of the spectrum. Other times you would drive out and parties canceled or something like that, and that's where like the employer, if I didn't go rogue, would be like, you know what, you took it out, you were there for us, here's $40 for your trip out there, and thank you so much. So I made sometimes $300 on the weekends, sometimes up to $600. I think I had one weekend where it was very close to $1,000. It was awesome. My cousin and I just kept on dressing up as different characters and going out and having fun with kids and making memories for them. And so in 2019, I kept on investing from my $16 an hour as a cashier all the way to now probably $25 to $30 an hour, closer to $30 an hour as a clinical supervisor. I was in pursuit of my master's degree in applied behavior analysis. At that point, I did get my master's, got a little pay increase, and then I took my board certification exam. Failing it the first time, I tried hard. What can I say? I gave it 100% and I still failed, which is cool because it means that I had a lot to learn. And going through all the material twice, I think made me more skilled than I would have been if I passed it on the first try. I mean, I have to tell myself that. I have to cope somehow. But I did pass the board certification exam for being a board certified behavior analyst. And after that point, I'm saying that a lot, by the way. Go back in this video and count how many times I say after that point. But after that point, my income opportunities increased, but it was also the pandemic and COVID, so it was kind of a little tricky to find work. But I didn't try too hard, and I kind of wanted a somewhat of a break, so I did a part-time gig, about 10 hours a week. And after that, I found my dream job that I applied to months before I started. I applied in February and interviewed in February, and I started in July because it was under construction. And it's right next to my home, so my commute is sometimes 10 minutes. With heavy traffic, maybe 20 minutes. And with that, I'm making solid money. I'm continuing to invest like I never have before. Just sometimes I throw my whole check into my stocks that I'm buying every single month, no matter what. I buy them on the 24th. The 24th is my grandma's birthday, July 24th, 1930. And I promise you guys that's none of my passwords, so don't even try. Don't even try. I know some of you tried. Nah, you good people, you good people. Except for you, I see you. I see you over there in the corner in a green shirt. I know what you're doing. You're not even wearing a shirt. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, I want to sum up by saying, like, this is a huge journey. When my mom came here, she certainly could not manifest or perceive herself getting to where she is today. And even right now, I think she can't even imagine where she will be 20 years from now. Alive and well, hopefully, but also making a lot of money doing what she loves, maybe resting a little bit more, like with strategy, right? Because rest is not just binging shows. That actually stresses you out. I don't know if you guys knew that, but usually when you watch a show or smoke a cigarette, drink alcohol, even scroll through social media, it cures stress, but it cures the same stress that it caused in the first place, or causes. So with that being said, that's kind of my whole entire journey up till now. Then the investing pieces of it and how I do that is in other videos. Feel free to check them out. And if you enjoyed this story, drop a like, drop a comment.